The world is a big place, and we often think we are the only ones in charge. We think the forest is just wood and leaves. We think animals are just something to watch from a distance. But in June 2005, in a quiet corner of Ethiopia, the world found out that nature has its own rules. Binti Jua is a small village. It sits right on the edge of the Kaffa zone, a place where the trees are so thick they seem to touch the sky. In the summer, the heat is heavy, and the red dust covers everything. It gets into your clothes and stays under your fingernails. This is where Mestawet lived. She was 12 years old, and her name meant good news. On this afternoon, Mestawet was walking home from school. Her yellow uniform was the brightest thing in the valley, shining like a sunflower against the dark green trees. She was a good student. She carried her school books in her arms and thought about her family. The walk was long, nearly 3 hours, but she knew every stone and every bush along the path. She felt safe because she had walked this way 1,000 times before. But the forest was not empty that day. 7 men were hiding in the tall elephant grass. They did not make a sound. They were waiting for a telefa, an old and silent crime where a girl is stolen to be a bride. It was a shadow that lived in the hills, a danger that every girl feared but hoped would never find her. Suddenly, the grass moved. Mestawet did not even have time to scream. 7 men lunged from the shadows like hungry animals. Their hands were rough, smelling of old smoke and sweat. One man clamped a dirty palm over her mouth, cutting off her breath. Another grabbed her waist. She kicked and she scratched, fighting with every bit of strength in her small body. But 7 grown men were too powerful for a 12-year-old girl. Her school books flew into the air. They hit the red dirt with a heavy thud, their pages flapping like the wings of a dying bird. The men dragged her backward, her feet scraping through the dust, leaving long marks in the earth. She looked at her books lying there, getting smaller and smaller as she was pulled away. They were her last piece of home. The men moved quickly. They did not use the main paths. They pushed through the thorns and the vines, dragging Mestawet into the heart of the Kaffa zone. The sunlight began to fade. The air turned cold and damp, smelling of wet moss and rotting wood. The forest felt like a giant mouth that had opened up to swallow her whole. The deeper they went, the quieter it became. No birds sang here. The only sound was the heavy breathing of the men and the rustle of leaves as they vanished into the green dark. Back at the village, the sun began to set. It painted the sky in shades of bruised purple and orange. Mestawet's mother stood outside her home, looking down the path. She had a clock in her heart that told her exactly when her daughter should be home. 1 hour passed, then 2. The worry in her stomach turned into cold ice. She ran to the path, her voice calling out into the evening air, "Mestawet! Mestawet!" There was no answer. Other villagers joined her. They carried torches and long sticks. They found the spot where the grass was trampled flat. There, lying in the red dust, were the school books. The mother fell to her knees and picked up a torn page. Her hand shook so hard the paper rattled. She saw the deep marks where her daughter had been dragged off the road. The men of the village looked into the dark forest. They held their machetes tight, but their eyes showed their fear. This part of the jungle was the Wild Heart, a place where even the bravest hunters did not go at night. They followed the tracks as far as they could, their torches bobbing like small, lonely stars in the blackness. They shouted her name until their throats were raw. They searched every shadow and every thicket of ferns. But as the moon rose, the tracks simply vanished. In a patch of deep moss under a giant fig tree, the footprint stopped. It was as if Mestawet had been lifted off the earth by a ghost. The father sank to the ground. He pressed his hands into the cool earth where his daughter had last stood. He did not cry, but his face looked like it was made of stone. The village stood on the edge of the trees, looking into the darkness. They thought the forest had taken her. They thought the 7 men had won. To them, the Kafazone was a hungry monster that did not care about a mother's broken heart. They did not see the truth. Just a few feet away from where the search party stopped, something was moving in the deep brush. It was silent. It was heavy. It did not smell like the sweat of the men. It smelled like the sun and the wild earth. A large golden shape shifted in the shadows. A heavy paw, wider than a man's hand, pressed into the mud, leaving a deep print that the villagers missed in the dark. 2 eyes opened. They were not green or white. They were the color of glowing amber, bright as 2 small fires. The lions had been there the whole time. They had seen the men. They had seen the struggle, and they were not going away. The family went home to cry, thinking their daughter was lost forever. But the forest was not her enemy. The real story was just beginning, and it was being watched by eyes that knew no fear. Do you think animals are only dangerous? Think again. The men pulled Mestawet deeper into the Kafazone forest. Branches scratched her face. Thorns caught her skin. Her bright yellow school uniform, once like sunshine, was now frayed and covered in mud. It looked like old leaves. The trees were like a green wall. They were tall and thick, blocking the sun. There were no paths here, only roots and wet earth. The air smelled damp and heavy. They walked for hours. Mestawet's legs felt like they were on fire. Her throat was dry. When she stumbled, one man grabbed her arm with a firm grip. He called her a name she hated, a name for a stolen bride. Mestawet did not look at him. Instead, she thought of her mother's cooking fire. She pictured the smell of warm bread and heard her little brothers laugh in her mind. She held those thoughts tight. They were her small light in the dark. Finally, they stopped. They found a small clearing hidden by giant ferns. Rain dripped from the leaves above. The ground was cold mud. It smelled of wet wood and old stones. The men threw down rough blankets, but they did not offer her comfort. They pushed her toward the edge of the clearing. Her back hit a mossy tree trunk with a thud. This was her prison. A small fire began to crackle. Smoke stung her eyes. The men huddled near the flames. They shared tough meat and hard bread. They did not give her any. They only gave her a tin cup of cloudy water. The men talked in low voices. They spoke about a future she did not want. They told her she would never return to her village. One man kicked some dirt toward her. He said she would never see her family again. Mestawet stared at the fire. She did not cry. She was only 12 years old, but she was strong. She whispered her brother's name in her heart, over and over. It was her secret shield. The nights were the most difficult. The fire always died down to red embers. Darkness pressed close to the camp. The men argued or slept loudly. Mestawet sat awake, listening. In her village, the night sounds were friendly. She used to hear crickets and the soft barking of dogs. She used to hear her mother humming. But here, the forest was different. Monkeys shrieked. Strange birds called from the canopy. Frogs made loud noises near a hidden stream. The sounds felt sharp and hungry. She missed her warm bed. She missed her mother's voice saying, "Sleep well, my son." On the third day, something changed. A new smell came on the wind. It was not the smell of wet earth or wood smoke. It smelled like hot fur and dry grass under a strong sun. It was a wild smell. Mestawet was the first to notice. She lifted her head and sniffed the air. The men did not notice anything. They were too busy laughing about the prize they would get for her. Mestawet closed her eyes. That smell felt ancient. It felt powerful. It made her heart beat faster, but not with fear. It was a strange new feeling. It was hope. Then came the fourth night. Suddenly, the forest went silent. It was a total silence. The monkeys stopped shrieking. The birds stopped calling. Even the frogs went quiet. It was as if the whole world was holding its breath. The men felt it too. Their loud jokes stopped instantly. Their voices dropped to low whispers. They kept looking at the dark trees. Shadows seemed to move just beyond the light of the fire. One man stood up quickly. He asked who was there, but his voice sounded small and afraid. No one answered. There was only the heavy silence. The faces of the men changed. They were no longer angry. They were afraid. Usually, they were the hunters. Now, they felt like they were being hunted. They threw more wood on the fire. The flames leaped high into the black sky. The light pushed back the shadows a little, but the darkness felt alive. It was watching them. The men sat shoulder to shoulder. They held their weapons tight. Their knuckles were white. They stared into the blackness. They were sweating, even though the air was cool. One man tried to say it was nothing, but his hands were shaking. Mestawet felt the quiet too. To her, it felt calm. It felt like the forest was waiting for something important. She stopped trembling. She sat very still and listened. The fire popped, and an ember hissed on the wet ground. The men were breathing fast and shallow. Then a new sound began. It was a deep, heavy vibration. It was the sound of a very large animal breathing nearby. It was slow and steady. The men froze. All 7 of them looked toward the sound. Their faces turned pale in the firelight. One man was so scared he dropped his rifle. It made a loud noise on the rocks, but he did not pick it up. He just stared into the trees with his mouth open. The breathing came closer. It was circling the camp. The firelight flickered on the terrified faces of the men. They saw nothing but black shadows, but they could hear the power in that breath. It was the sound of something that owned the woods. Then, in the deepest shadow, 2 circles of light appeared. They were golden and bright. They reflected the orange glow of the fire. They did not blink. They just watched the men. Then they moved slightly to look at Mestawet. The golden eyes were patient. They were calm. The men gasped. One man whispered about a ghost. Another whimpered like a small child. They pointed their shaking fingers at the trees. They only saw the eyes, not the body behind them. They did not understand the power that was standing in the dark. Mestowet looked into those eyes. Her breath caught in her throat, but inside her chest, something warm began to grow. The cold fear started to go away. That wild smell, that deep breathing, it was real. It was old, and it was watching the men who had taken her. The golden eyes blinked slowly, once, then again. The heavy breathing continued, steady and strong. The firelight caught a tiny flash of light on a massive golden shoulder moving through the ferns. The 7 men finally understood the truth. They were not the masters of this forest. Something much bigger and much older was in charge. It was a guardian that did not like what they had done. They huddled together, their weapons useless. They were wet with sweat and fear. The girl they had stolen did not matter to them anymore. Their only thought was how to stay alive. Mestowet did not look away. The golden eyes held her gaze, and for the first time in a week, she felt safe. The men thought they were surrounded by a monster, but Mestowet knew the truth. The forest had sent a protector. The hunters had become the prey, and the golden eyes were not going to let her go. The 7th morning came. Pale light filtered through the thick Cafazone trees. The camp was a mess of trampled ferns and cold ashes. The men had not slept well. They jumped at every small sound. Their eyes were red. Their hands shook as they packed rough blankets. Mestowet sat against the mossy tree. Her yellow school uniform was faded now, scratched by branches, stained by rain. The water in her cup looked cloudy. She sipped slowly. Her body felt weak, but her mind was sharp. She remembered the golden eyes, the heavy breathing in the dark. Hope flickered inside her like a small, steady flame. The men argued in low, nervous voices. "This place is bad." "Ma," one muttered, "we leave now, deeper into the forest." They did not look at the shadows anymore. They kept their eyes down, avoiding the tree line. Mestowet stood when they pushed her up. Her legs wobbled, but she walked between 2 men. They gripped her arms, but not as tightly as before. Fear had made them careless. As they moved through the green gloom, Mestowet felt the air change. It grew still, heavy, like the forest was holding its breath. Even the men noticed. They walked faster. Their steps were loud on the wet leaves. Too loud. They entered a small opening. Sunlight touched the ground here, a patch of bright green grass. Wildflowers nodded in the weak light. For a moment, it felt peaceful. Then silence, total silence. The wind stopped rustling the leaves. Birds ceased their morning songs. Insects fell quiet. Even the distant stream seemed to pause. The forest waited. Mestowet stopped walking. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She knew this silence. It was the same quiet from the 4th night. The men turned to each other, confusion on their faces. One opened his mouth to speak. Crash! Bushes exploded at the edge of the clearing. Not one, but 3 massive shapes burst through. Golden fur flashed in the sunlight. Lions! Huge lions! They moved like lightning, silent, powerful. No roar, just pure, fast motion. Their muscles rippled under thick coats. Their paws made soft thuds on the earth. Pure terror hit the men. They dropped everything, blankets, water cups. Even their weapons clattered to the ground. They screamed, high, sharp sounds of pure fear. One man scrambled up a thick tree trunk. Another crashed into dense undergrowth. A third ran blindly, tripping over roots. They forgot Mestawet completely, forgot their plan, forgot everything but escape. Within seconds, the clearing was empty, except for Mestawet and the 3 lions. Mestawet stood frozen in the center of the grass. Her whole body shook. She could not move, could not breathe. The lions turned. Slowly, their huge heads lifted, amber eyes, deep and calm, fixed on her. Not angry eyes, not hunting eyes, watching eyes. One lion had a thick mane, dark gold. Another was younger, swift-moving. The third was large, with powerful shoulders. Their breath steamed in the cool morning air. Huff, huff, huff. Mestawet closed her eyes, waiting for the end. But no heavy paw struck her. No teeth closed around her arm. She opened her eyes. The lions were not charging. They walked toward her. Slowly, deliberately. Their movements were smooth, quiet, like water flowing. They stopped a few paces away. Then, one by one, they sat down. Not randomly. They formed a perfect triangle around her. The big male faced the tree where a man hid. The younger lion faced the undergrowth where another had run. The third faced the path the others took. They sat tall, still, guarding. Mestawet looked at them, really looked. These were not wild killers here to hurt her. She saw it in their steady gaze, in the way they ignored her completely now. Their amber eyes scanned the tree line, ears twitching at every small sound from the hiding men. They were not looking at her. They were looking past her, protecting her. The realization washed over Mestawet like warm water. These lions were not her enemies. They were her guardians. They had come for the men who stole her, not for her. She sank to her knees in the soft grass, not from fear, from relief. Tears streamed down her face, clean tears. She placed her hand on the earth. The grass felt cool, alive. The morning sun touched her scratched arms. From the trees, a man whimpered. A branch snapped. The big lion's head turned sharply. A low growl rumbled in his chest, not loud, but deep. It vibrated in Mestawet's bones. The sound said, "I hear you. I see you. Stay hidden." The other lions did not move. They held their positions, silent sentinels. Mestawet looked at the triangle of golden fur surrounding her. She thought of her village, her mother calling her name, her father's strong hands, her little brother waiting. The lions had given her a gift, a chance. They were not hunting her. They were keeping her safe. Her breath came easier now. The fear was gone, replaced by a deep, calm certainty. She was not alone. The forest was on her side. High in the tree, a man shifted. The big lion stood up, stretched his powerful legs, took 2 slow steps toward the tree. He did not roar. He did not charge. He just stood there, watching, waiting. His amber eyes never left the trembling leaves above. Mestawet knew then. The 7 men would not come near her again, not with these guardians around her. She sat in the center of the triangle, sunlight warming her faded yellow uniform. The lions faced outward, protecting her space, protecting her future. The forest had spoken. The golden guardians had chosen their side, and Mestawet knew her journey home had finally begun. For 7 days, the search never stopped. Police officers and villagers walked the forest paths, of the Kaffa zone. Their feet were heavy. Their eyes were tired. But they kept looking for Mestawet. They followed faint trails through the thick leaves. They called her name until their voices were hoarse. Hope was thin, like the morning mist. Then, near a muddy stream, they found something that made them stop. Large paw prints, much bigger than a dog's. Deep in the soft earth, the police sergeant's face grew serious. He looked at the marks and whispered one word. Lions. Fear touched every heart in the group. They moved slower now. They listened to every rustle of the leaves. Suddenly, a sound reached them. It was not a shout. It was not a cry. It was a soft, steady breathing. It sounded like wind moving through tall grass. The searchers froze. The sergeant held up a hand for silence. Quietly, they pushed through the thick bushes toward a small clearing. They expected to see the 7 men. They expected to see Mestawet in a difficult situation. But what they saw made them stop completely. Mestawet was sitting in the exact center of the green grass. Her yellow school uniform was faded and scratched by the bushes. Her bare feet were covered in dust, but she was sitting upright. She looked calm. Around her stood 3 enormous lions. Their golden fur was glowing in the sunlight. They formed a perfect circle around the girl. They were not pacing. They were not growling. They were standing like living statues. Their amber eyes watched the police officers. They did not look angry. They looked focused and quiet. The sergeant felt his breath catch in his throat. He had seen many forests and many surprises, but he had never seen this. The lions were thick with muscle. Their tails lay flat on the grass. They did not look like they wanted to fight. They just looked like they were guarding a space. They looked at the humans, and then they looked back at Mestawet. They were protecting her. The sergeant took one slow step forward. He kept his hands open and away from his belt. The lions did not move. They did not flinch. Their eyes followed him with a steady gaze. Another officer stepped beside him, then another. The 3 lions turned their massive heads at the same time. Still, there was no sound, no bared teeth, only that deep, steady breathing. The sergeant saw something amazing in Mestawet's eyes. She was not afraid of the great cats. She sat straighter. Her small hand rested lightly on the grass near her. The biggest lion, with a dark mane, looked directly at her. A low rumble came from his chest. It was not a growl. It was a soft, vibrating sound. It sounded like distant thunder. It seemed to offer comfort. The sergeant moved closer. 10 steps, 5 steps. The lions held their ground. Their eyes never left the humans, but their bodies stayed relaxed. The young lion blinked slowly. The female shifted her weight, but stayed in the circle. They were waiting for the right moment to hand her over. The sergeant finally reached Mestawet's side. He knelt in the dirt. He whispered her name, Mestawet. Her name sounded very loud in the quiet clearing. She turned her face to him. She had tears in her eyes, but she nodded. She said one word, yes. Her voice was rough, but it was clear. As soon as she spoke, the lions moved. They did not move fast or with anger. The big male stood up first. He stretched his front legs like a house cat. Then the other 2 rose as well. They looked at Mestawet one last time. It was a long, deep look. Then, as a group, they turned toward the thick trees. They walked slowly and gracefully. Their golden fur blended with the yellow leaves and the sunlight. They did not look back. Within moments, they vanished into the green shadows. They were gone, as if they had never been there. The officers rushed to help Mestawet. They wrapped her in blankets. They gave her fresh water. Soft hands helped her stand up. Her shoes were lost in the forest. Her uniform was scratched and dirty, but she was safe. She was whole. She clung to the sergeant's arm as they walked back. She whispered that the golden ones had kept her safe. The sergeant held her gently. His own eyes were wet with tears. Later, he would tell the world it was a miracle. He told everyone that the lions guarded her like she was their own cub. People often ask why this happened. Experts from far away have many ideas. Some say a child's cry sounds like the call of a lost lion cub. They say it was just an instinct to protect a small sound. But the people of the Kaffa zone have a different belief. They know their forest better than anyone. They say the trees have ears and the wind carries the truth. They believe the forest knows when a person is innocent. They believe the wild saw a child in trouble and sent guardians to help. This true story reached newspapers all over the world in 2005. People on every continent talked about the girl and the 3 lions. It changed how many people see the wild. Lions are strong, and sometimes they are dangerous, but they are also capable of something else. They understand more than we think. They seem to feel the difference between kindness and cruelty. Mestawet's story is a reminder that nature is not always our enemy. Sometimes it is the only friend we have when we are lost. The 7 men who took her did not win. The police found them later, far away from the forest, and they were stopped from ever hurting anyone again. Mestawet went home to her village. Her mother hugged her for a long time. Her father bought her a new pair of shoes and new books for school. The only things left in the forest were the large paw prints in the mud. They were the only proof that for 7 days a little girl was a member of a lion pride. You might think the story of the guardians ends here, but the world is full of these mysteries. The land has its protectors, but so does the sea. The Kaffa zone proved that lions can be kind, but wait until you hear about the cold blue water of the ocean. Wait until you hear about the shapes that rise from the deep not to hunt, but to save. The sea has its own guardians, and their story is just as amazing. You will not believe what happens when a shark finds a group of swimmers and the dolphins decide to fight back. You leave the red dust of Ethiopia behind. Now feel the cold spray of New Zealand's ocean beach. The year is 2004. The water is a clear, deep blue. The sand is golden. The sun warms your skin. It is a perfect day for swimming. Meet Rob Howes. He is a lifeguard. His job is to keep swimmers safe. Today, he is off duty. He swims with his daughter, Nicole, and her 2 friends, Sarah and Hannah. They laugh and splash. The water feels cool and clean. They swim about 100 meters from the shore, far enough for adventure, close enough to see the beach. Rob watches them carefully. It is his habit, always. The sun shines bright, no clouds. The water is so clear, they see small fish darting below, like silver coins. Nicole points at a starfish on the sandy bottom. Everyone feels happy, relaxed, safe. There is no warning, no sign of trouble. in the blue water. Then, suddenly, movement. 7 bottlenose dolphins appear, smooth gray bodies cutting through the waves. At first, the swimmers smile. Dolphins are friends. Everyone knows this. They play with boats. They leap in the air. Nicole shouts with joy. The girls splash toward them. Rob feels happy too. A gift on a beautiful day. But the dolphins do not play. They swim fast, very fast. They form a tight circle around the 4 humans. Not wide, not loose. A ring of gray flesh just meters away. Their tails slap the water hard. Splash, splash, splash. Loud sounds, startling sounds. The circle does not break. It holds firm. The swimmers stop smiling. Nicole treads water. Her eyes are wide. "Dad," she calls. Rob feels it too. This is not friendly. This feels tense, uncomfortable. He tries to swim toward the beach. Out of the circle, a large dolphin moves quickly. It blocks his path. Its strong body pushes gently but firmly against Rob's chest. He is guided back to the center, like a sheepdog moving a lamb. The girls huddle close to Rob. Their happy laughter is gone, replaced by nervous whispers. "Why are they doing this?" Sarah asks. Rob does not know. He feels the push of the water. The circle holds them tight. Trapped or protected, he is a lifeguard. He knows water. He knows danger. Hides below the surface. He takes a deep breath, dips his head under the waves. The world changes underwater. Sunlight streams down in golden beams. The sandy bottom is clear. Small crabs scuttle away. And there, just beyond the circle of dolphins, he sees it. A long, smooth shape, gray, powerful, moving slowly. 3 meters long. Its body is thick. Its tail swings with quiet strength. Its eye is dark, unblinking, watching the circle, watching the humans inside. It is not a dolphin, not a friendly shape. It is a great white shark. Rob's heart pounds like a drum. He lifts his head, gasps for air. The dolphins are still circling, fast, loud, slapping the water, keeping the shark back. He looks at his daughter. Her face is pale. "Stay close," he says. His voice is calm, but his mind races. He understands now. The dolphins are not being pushy. They are not playing a strange game. They are hiding the swimmers, shielding them. The shark swims just outside the ring, patient, waiting. But the dolphins refuse to break formation. They swim shoulder to shoulder, a living wall, gray flesh and strong bone between the humans and the shadow in the deep. Their tails slap the surface, a warning sound. Stay back. These are ours to protect. Rob holds Nicole's hand tight. He feels the water move around them. The shark glides closer, testing the circle. The big dolphin turns sharply, swims straight at the shark, not attacking, just showing its size, its presence. The shark slides back. For now, the circle holds. The slapping continues. Splash, splash, splash. A rhythm of safety. Rob looks at the dolphins' faces. Their eyes are focused, serious, not playful. They know the danger. They chose to stand against it. For strangers, for children, for life. The beach is still far. 100 meters of blue water, but Rob does not feel alone. He feels surrounded, guarded. The gray wall moves with them. The shark's shadow drifts just beyond, patient, hungry, But the dolphins do not waver. Their circle is perfect, unbroken, a ring of courage in the cold sea. Rob keeps his head above water. He watches the gray shadow circle them. He feels the dolphins' bodies brush close, not touching, just there, solid, strong, protecting. The sun shines on the splashing water. The loud tail slaps echo over the waves. The shadow waits. The circle holds. The humans float inside a fortress of fins. Safe. For now. The gray guardian of the deep watches. But the sea has its own guardians, too. And they have drawn a line in the blue water. No further. The shadow cannot cross. Not while the dolphins stand firm. Not while the wall of flesh and bone holds strong against the ancient fear below. The water holds Rob House and the three girls tight. They float in the center of the dolphin circle. Just meters away, the great white shark glides in slow circles, a silent gray shadow. In the blue, Rob feels its presence like cold fingers on his spine. The shark is patient, powerful, but it stays outside the ring of gray bodies. The 7 dolphins move as one, not randomly, like parts of a single machine. They swim shoulder to shoulder. Their smooth gray skin brushes against the humans. Gentle bumps guide Nicole, Sarah, and Hannah closer together. A dolphin nudges Rob's leg, warm skin against its cold arm. They keep the circle tight, unbroken. Their tails slap the surface, loud, constant, a drumbeat of protection. Underwater, sound fills Rob's ears. Clicking, whistling, high-pitched calls bouncing off the waves. It is not random noise. It feels like talking, like orders. The dolphins' dark eyes watch everything. Rob feels their intelligence, their focus. The water is cold, but where a dolphin touches him, warmth spreads. The girls huddle close. Nicole's teeth chatter. Sarah grips Rob's wrist. Her knuckles are white. Hannah stares at the water, eyes wide with fear. "Daddy," Nicole whispers, "want to go home." Rob's voice is calm. "Stay with me. Hold hands. The dolphins are helping us." He knows this is true. He also knows the terrible cost of one mistake. If the dolphins break formation for even 1 second, the shadow will strike. The shark tests the circle. It swims closer, slow, deliberate. Its gray shape slides just beyond the dolphins' tails. The dolphins react instantly. They tighten their ring. Bodies press closer to the humans. One large dolphin turns sharply, swims straight at the shark. Not to fight, to show size, to say stop. The shark veers away, but it does not leave. It circles again, confused. Dolphins and sharks share this ocean, but they do not share prey. This shark cannot understand why these dolphins guard hairless land creatures. Time stretches. Minutes feel like hours. Rob's legs burn from treading water. The girls kick weakly. Their arms ache. The Golden Beach looks impossibly far. 100 meters of open water, a desert of blue. Rob scans the shore. No other swimmers, no boats, just the endless sea and the waiting shark. He feels the girls' fear like a physical weight. They are young. This should be a happy swim, not a fight for safety. The dolphins grow more active. They leap from the water, high arcs of gray muscle. They crash down with huge splashes. Whoosh! Water rains down on the humans. Whoosh! Again and again. Each landing shakes the surface. The noise is deafening. Rob understands. The splashes scare the shark. They make the circle look bigger, more dangerous, more alive. The jumping dolphins create a wall of noise and water, a barrier the shark hesitates to cross. Underwater, the clicking grows faster, urgent. The dolphin's eyes meet Rob's, dark, intelligent, unblinking. In that look, Rob feels a message, clear as sunlight. Do not move. Stay still. Trust us. The shark makes its choice. It stops circling. It turns. Heads straight for the weakest point in the ring, near Sarah. The dolphins see it. They rush to close the gap. Bodies slide through the water like arrows. But the shark is faster. It surges forward, a silent torpedo of gray muscle. Rob's breath catches. He pulls Sarah close. The dolphins leap, all seven. Their bodies leave the water together, a wall of falling gray. They crash down hard. Kaboom! Water explodes upward. Blinding spray. The force pushes the humans backward. The shark vanishes under the churning foam. Silence for one heartbeat. Two heartbeats. Then the water clears. The shark is there, just beneath the surface, gliding slowly, directly under their feet. Rob looks down. The shadow passes below his kicking legs. 3 meters of smooth, powerful gray. Its dark eye rolls upward, staring at the humans, at the dolphins. The circle holds firm. The dolphins swim faster now. Their tails slap the water without pause. Splash, 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 splash. A frantic rhythm, a shield of sound and spray. The shark's shadow slides past Nicole's toes, past Hannah's knees. It circles back. Closer this time, testing, pressing. The dolphins jump again. Higher, harder. Water soaks the girl's hair. Their faces, they squeeze their eyes shut, hold each other tight. Rob feels the shark's cold presence like a current. He feels the dolphins' warm bodies pressing in. The clicking underwater is a storm of sound. The splashes are thunder. The shadow glides beneath them again. Slower, closer, its fin cuts the surface. A dark blade in the blue water. The dolphins leap one last time. Their bodies hang in the air, suspended, glowing in the sunlight. Then they crash down. Crack 'em! The water shakes. The force knocks Rob off balance. He grabs Nicole's arm. The shark's shadow passes under Hannah's small foot. So close. Rob sees every line on its gray skin. The shadow does not turn away. It keeps coming, straight toward the center. The dolphins swim in a blur, a gray whirlwind around the humans. Their clicks are sharp, angry, protective. The shark's dark eye locks onto Rob's, unblinking, ancient, hungry. The dolphins' circle shrinks tighter. Bodies press against human legs, warmth against cold fear. The shadow fills the water below. The splashes beat the surface like drums. The clicking screams through the blue. The battle hangs on a knife's edge. One breath, one movement, one broken circle. The shadow rises slightly, closer to the light, closer to the feet treading above. The dolphin's bodies tense. Ready, the water holds its breath. The shadow reaches upward, just below the surface, just below the humans. The gray shape is no longer a shadow. It is real. It is here. 40 minutes passed. Rob House's arms felt like heavy stones. His legs burned from treading water. Nicole, Sarah, and Hannah clung to him. Their small bodies shook with cold and fear. The dolphin's circle still held, but the gray bodies moved slower now. Their splashes were less forceful. Everyone was reaching their limit. The shark's shadow glided just beyond the ring, patient, waiting for weakness. On the shore, lifeguard Matt Fleet scanned the water from his small patrol boat. He noticed the dolphins first, 7 of them jumping wildly near the swimming zone. Dolphins usually play gently. This was different. Loud, frantic, splash, like thunder on the water. Matt frowned. Something was wrong. He steered the boat toward the commotion. The engine hummed softly. As he neared the splashing, Matt looked down into the clear blue water. His breath caught below the surface. He saw 4 small figures huddled together, humans, and circling them, a massive gray shape, 3 meters long, smooth, powerful, a great white shark. Its dark eyes scanned the tight ring of dolphins guarding the swimmers. Matt had worked these beaches for years. He had never seen anything like this. The shark saw the boat, but it did not turn away. It surged forward, a silent, swift shape, diving deep under the dolphin ring, straight toward Sarah's legs. The dolphins reacted instantly. They spun in the water, bodies flashing gray. Tails slapped the surface hard. Crack, crack, crack. The noise was deafening. Water sprayed high. The shark pulled back just as Matt's boat reached the edge of the circle. The hull bumped gently against the churning water. Safety. Solid wood. Rob felt hope flare bright in his chest. Matt leaned over the boat's edge. His face was pale. "Get in, now!" he shouted. Rob lifted Nicole first. Her arms wrapped around Matt's neck. Sarah and Hannah scrambled up next. Rob followed. His legs trembled as he pulled himself aboard. He looked back at the water. The shark circled once more, close. Its gray fin cut the surface like a knife. Matt stared at the enormous shape. "Impossible," he whispered. His hands gripped the boat's rails tight. The shark made its choice. It faced the boat, faced the tight ring of dolphins. The dolphins swam faster now, a wall of gray flesh. Clicking sounds rose from the water. Sharp, urgent calls. The shark hesitated. It turned its massive head, looked at the boat, looked at the dolphins. Then, slowly, it turned away. Its powerful tail pushed it deeper. The gray shadow faded into the blue darkness. Gone. The dolphins slowed their swimming. Their circle opened like a flower unfolding. They did not rush away. They stayed near the boat, watching. One large dolphin swam close to the hull. Its dark eye met Rob's, calm, knowing. It let out a soft chirp. Then another. The others joined in, a chorus of whistles and clicks, a sound like rain on water. Matt carefully moved the boat toward shore. The dolphins followed, keeping pace, a silent escort. Rob held Nicole on his lap. She buried her face in his wet shirt. Sarah and Hannah sat side by side, wrapped in Matt's emergency blankets. Their teeth chattered. The boat reached shallow water. Rob lifted the girls out. They waded onto the sand. Golden grains stuck to their cold feet. The sun felt warm on their skin. They turned to look back at the ocean. The water was calm now. Gentle waves lapped the shore. Far out, where the deep blue began, 7 gray shapes broke the surface. They arched high, glowing in the sunlight, then crashed down together, one perfect splash. The sound carried across the quiet water. of farewell. Rob put his arm around Nicole. She leaned against him. Her small hand gripped his shirt. He looked at the spot where the dolphins vanished. His throat felt tight. Without those 7 guardians, they would not be standing here on the warm sand. The ocean stretched wide and blue before them, silent, peaceful. But Rob knew the truth. The sea held more than water and waves. It held watchers, protectors, friends. The girls shivered in the breeze. Rob wrapped his arms tighter around them. The beach was empty, except for their footprints in the sand. The ocean was quiet again, but nothing was the same. News traveled fast. In November 2004, Rob House's story reached every corner of the world. People in small villages and huge cities talked about it. You heard it on radios, saw it on television screens, read it in papers. 7 dolphins, 4 swimmers, 1 great white shark. How did dolphins protect humans? No one had a simple answer. Scientists were surprised. Dolphins usually avoid sharks. They swim away from danger, not toward it. These 7 dolphins did the opposite. They charged. They formed a wall. They stayed for 40 minutes. Experts searched for reasons. They used big words like altruism. It means helping others, even when it is risky. Dolphins have big brains. They feel deep bonds with their group. Maybe they saw the swimmers as part of their own family, weak members needing protection. When the shark appeared, their instinct took over. Shield first. Ask questions later. Think about the shark's view. It was large, powerful, but 7 dolphins together are a force. Their clicking sounds confuse a shark's senses. Their fast movements create chaos. This shark did not just feel threatened. It felt confused. Why would dolphins guard hairless creatures? Sharks understand fear. They understand flight. They do not understand sacrifice. The shark circled, tested, waited, but the dolphin ring never broke, never wavered. The shark chose to leave, not out of weakness, out of respect for unity, for teamwork. It could not break. Months later, Rob House still walks Ocean Beach. He breathes the salt air, feels the sun on his skin, but he looks at the water differently now. He sees ripples. He hears splashes. He remembers warm gray bodies pressing close in cold water. He feels deep gratitude, not just for being safe, for being seen, protected. It felt like old friends surrounded us, he says. Not animals, guardians. He knows the dolphins did not have to stay. They chose to, for strangers, for children, for life. This story changes how we see our world. Humans and animals are not so different. We share this planet. We share its oceans, its forests, its skies. Sometimes we even share the same heart, the same instinct to help, to protect, to stand together against the shadows. Dolphins in New Zealand, lions in Ethiopia. These are not accidents. They are reminders. Nature watches. Nature balances. Nature sometimes reaches out a fin or a paw to pull us back from the edge. The ocean is vast, deeper than mountains are tall. Dolphins are clever, strong, but they are small compared to the true giants of the deep, creatures that live where sunlight never touches, where pressure crushes steel, where silence is older than time. You think you know the sea from the shore. from boats, from stories. But the deep holds secrets, ancient beings, older than forests, wiser than cities. They move in the cold dark, unseen, unheard, until they choose to be seen. Imagine the water far below, black, quiet. Then a shape stirs, massive, slow, an eye opens, larger than a dinner plate, dark, intelligent, watching the world above, not with hunger, with patience. Lions guard the land, dolphins guard the waves, but this guardian is different. It is as big as a house. It lives in the deep blue abyss. Its eye glows faintly in the endless night, waiting, watching, knowing. The ocean holds more than water. It holds watchers, protectors, friends. That single eye holds the weight of centuries. It has seen empires rise and fall. It has felt the earth shake. It has heard every human cry, carried down by currents. Now it turns its gaze upward, toward the light, toward you. The water above shivers just once, a ripple on the surface, a signal. The deep is awake, and it remembers your name. You float in the South Pacific, the Cook Islands. Water so clear and blue, it feels like flying. Sunlight beams down, cutting through the waves. You can see for meters. Fish dart like silver arrows. Coral glows below. This is Nan Hauser's world. She has spent her whole life here, studying whales, loving them, respecting their size, their song, their ancient eyes. Nan swims alone today, just her and her camera. She films a humpback whale. It is enormous, as big as a large truck, over 20,000 kilograms of smooth gray skin. It moves slowly, gracefully. Nan smiles behind her mask. This is her home, her joy. But today is different. The whale stops its calm circles. It turns, fast, toward Nan. Its massive head glides through the water. No warning. Nan freezes. Her camera drifts in her hand. The whale bumps her gently, then again, harder. Its head guides her sideways. One flipper, long as a door, moves against her leg, pushing, steering, not gentle, not playful, urgent. Nan feels uneasy. She is a professional, 30 years underwater. But this feels wrong. The whale's body presses close. It guides her toward the surface. Nan tries to swim down, away. The whale blocks her path. Its huge side fills her view. Like a living wall, it keeps moving her, up, toward the light. Nan's heart beats fast. She worries. One accidental bump from that giant flipper could hurt her. She kicks hard, trying to break free. The whale does not let go. It stays between her and the deep blue open ocean. Like a shield, confusion clouds Nan's mind. She has never seen this. Humpbacks are calm. They keep distance, respect space. This whale acts like a guard. Dog, nudging, blocking, insisting. Nan's arms tire. Her legs feel heavy. The surface is still far. Why is it doing this? Is it angry? Playing a strange game? Nan's mind races. No answer comes. Only the whale's steady pressure. Moving her, always moving her up. The whale turns slightly. Nan glances past its massive tail, into the deep blue beyond. Sunlight fades there. Shadows dance. And then she sees it, far off, A shape, thin, gray, moving fast, very fast, cutting through the water like a blade. Not a whale. Too narrow, too sharp. It glides toward them, silent, purposeful. Nan's breath catches. What is that? Her body tenses, uncomfortable, scared. The humpback whale senses her fear. It moves faster. Its head presses Nan's back. Firm, insistent, pushing her upward, toward the boat, toward safety. Nan looks back. The thin gray shape is closer now, still far, but closing the distance, quick, silent. The whale's body stays between Nan and that shadow, a wall of living gray. Nan kicks harder. Her lungs burn. She does not understand. Why is this giant moving her? Why does it not swim away from the shadow itself? The whale's eye meets Nan's, dark, deep, older than forests. It does not look angry. It looks focused, determined. Nan feels the power in its muscles, the strength in its push. She is small, like a leaf against a boulder. The surface light grows brighter above. The gray shadow grows darker below. Nan's mind spins. She is being guided, forced, protected? No, that cannot be. Whales do not protect humans. They avoid us. They fear us. This makes no sense. The thin shape moves closer, fast, silent. The whale's body blocks Nan's view again. Its flipper guides her leg up, up, toward the sun. Nan's head breaks the surface. She gasps air, spits salt water, looks down. The whale's huge eye watches her from below, calm, unblinking. Then it turns, slowly, deliberately, facing the deep blue, facing the direction of the shadow. Nan treads water, shaking. The boat is near. She can reach it, but she looks back at the whale. It stays below, still, guarding the space between her and the open ocean. The thin gray shape is gone, vanished into the blue, or hiding just out of sight. Nan Hauser sits on the whale's broad head. Water streams down her wetsuit, cold, wet. Her small boat bobs close. Her team leans over the edge. Hands reach down, strong hands. They pull her up. Nan slides onto the boat's hard floor, warm wood under her palms, sunlight on her face. She gasps clean air, shaking, alive. She points down immediately. Look, shark! Her voice is rough but clear. Her team peers into the blue water. There, in the deep, they see it. A long gray shadow, striped faintly. The tiger shark. Moving slow, away, into darker water. The team falls silent. Shock washes over their faces. Now they understand. The whale's strange pushes, its urgent movements, its body blocking the deep, not attack, protection, pure protection. The whale does not leave. It stays beside the boat. Its massive shape makes the small vessel look like a toy. Water laps against its rough skin. Barnacles dot its gray back like ancient stones. It breathes. A loud whoosh from its blowhole. A spray of mist catches the sunlight. Diamonds in the air. Nan stands. Her legs feel weak. She walks to the boat's edge, looks down. The whale rolls gently onto its side. One huge eye meets Nan's, dark, deep, the size of a plate. Nan sees intelligence there, calm, knowing, no anger. only watchfulness. She places her hand on the boat's rail. The whale holds her gaze. A silent conversation, no words needed. Nan feels deep gratitude, warm, certain the whale saved her, not by accident, by choice. She whispers, "Thank you." The whale breathes again, a soft mist cloud. Its eye never leaves hers. Then a final gesture. The whale lifts its tail, high, slow. It touches the boat's side. Not a crash, a gentle splash, like a hand waving goodbye. Water droplets kiss Nan's arm, warm from the sun. The whale turns. Its huge body glides downward, deeper. Its tail rises one last time, a black fin, pointing at the sky, then slips under the blue surface. Gone. Ripples spread. Then stillness. The ocean breathes quiet again. Nan's camera recorded everything. The video traveled fast, across oceans, over mountains, into phones, computers, televisions, all over the world. People watched a 20,000-kilogram giant protect one small human. They could not believe it. Why would it do that? They asked. Scientists studied the film. They called it altruism, helping others even when risky. This was the first time such kindness in humpback whales was seen clearly. Proof these ocean giants have big hearts, not just big bodies. We have seen guardians in the red forests of Ethiopia, golden lions with patient eyes. We have seen guardians in New Zealand's blue waves, dolphins forming walls of splash and sound, and now a giant of the deep, a whale who chose to shield a stranger. These are not accidents. They are threads in a larger truth. The wild world watches. It feels. It protects. But the greatest guardians sometimes wear faces like ours. Not fur, not scales, not fins, skin, eyes that hold worry, hands that reach out in the dark. The final guardian waits not in forest or ocean, but behind clear walls, in a place of quiet steps and soft voices. A motherly figure, calm, strong, waiting for the moment a small human hand presses against the glass, needing comfort only another heart can give. The Brookfield Zoo holds this secret. Its halls are quiet, its rooms are warm, and behind one glass wall, a pair of gentle eyes watches the world. Ready, always ready. When the child's tears fall, the guardian will move, not with claws or teeth, with arms wide open like home. The zoo air hums softly. Dust motes dance in sunbeams, and the waiting begins. You stand in the warm August air of Chicago's Brookfield Zoo. The year is 1996. Sunlight glints off the glass of the Tropic World exhibit. Inside, it feels like a jungle. Tall fake trees, smooth rocks, a deep open space where gorillas live. A high wall keeps visitors safe. You watch from above, safe, dry, happy. A 3-year-old boy stands with his family. His eyes are wide, excited. He points at the gorillas. "Look, big monkey," he shouts. His small hands grip the wooden railing. He wants to see better. He climbs up, carefully at first, then higher. His foot slips on the smooth wood. One hand lets go, then the other. He tumbles over the edge. The fall is long, 6 meters, 20 feet. Time stretches. The boy's small body twists in the air. He lands hard on the exhibit floor. A dull thud echoes in the quiet space. He does not move. He lies very still. face pale, arms limp, like a dropped toy. Panic explodes above. Screams rip through the warm air. He fell! A child fell! People press against the glass, faces white, hands shaking. They see the gorillas below, large, powerful. One silverback male lifts his head, sniffs the air. Others stop eating, turn toward the still shape on the ground. Gorillas protect their home fiercely. Visitors know this. Fear grips every heart. He won't survive, someone whispers. They'll see him as a threat. Among the gorillas, one moves differently. Binti Jua, 8 years old, a western lowland gorilla. Her own baby, Kula, clings tightly to her back. Tiny fingers grip Binti's dark fur. Binti's eyes are calm. She does not roar, does not pound her chest. While the other gorillas shuffle nervously, sniffing the air, Binti walks toward the boy, slow, purposeful. Her large feet pad softly on the concrete. Her eyes never leave the small, still form. The crowd above holds its breath. Faces pressed against the glass. Some cover their children's eyes. Others pray quietly. She's going to hurt him, a woman sobs. He's just a baby. She might think he's a toy or an enemy. The silverback male watches Binti. He does not follow. He waits, confused, protective of his space. But Binti does not look back. She moves steadily across the exhibit, past fake vines, around a rock pile, toward the boy. Binti stops beside him. She is huge next to his small body. Her dark fur ripples in the warm air. Her breathing is soft, steady. Kula peeks over her mother's shoulder, curious, unafraid. Binti leans down, low. Her massive head comes close to the boy's still face. The crowd above gasps. A man shouts, "No!" A woman turns away. They cannot watch. They imagine teeth, claws, violence. They think of strength used badly, of a child broken in a difficult situation. Binti's large, hairy hand moves slowly, deliberately. It reaches toward the boy's shoulder, not fast, not rough, gentle, like a mother testing a fever. Her dark eyes stay fixed on his face, watching, waiting. Kula shifts on her back, makes a soft cooing sound. The air hums with tension. The other gorillas stand frozen, watching Binti. The crowd above is silent now. No screams, only sharp breaths, stunned stillness. They see the hand, broad, strong, covered in coarse hair, hover just above the boy's chest, inches away. The boy does not stir, does not flinch. His small chest rises faintly, once, then still again. Binti's fingers touch his shirt, lightly, carefully. She feels for movement, for warmth. Her touch is softer than anyone expected, like leaves brushing stone. She leans closer. Her breath fogs the boy's cheek. Warm, alive. Kula chitters softly. Binti makes a low rumbling sound, deep in her chest. Not a growl, a hum. Comforting, like a lullaby. The silverback male takes one step forward, stops, watches, waits. The zoo air feels thick, heavy. Time slows. Binti's hand rests on the boy's arm. Her dark eyes hold his closed ones. Understanding passes between them, unseen, unspoken. She knows he is not a threat, not a toy, just a small being who fell, who needs help. Her large body shields him from the others, from the hard floor, from the watching eyes above. The crowd sees only the hand on the child, a giant's touch, gentle, certain, full of quiet purpose. The boy's fingers twitch just once. Binti feels it. Her rumbling sound grows louder, warmer, like thunder far away, safe thunder. She lifts her head slightly, looks up at the glass wall, at the frozen faces. Her eyes hold no anger, only calm. She has claimed this space, this moment, this child, and she will not let go. The sun streams through the exhibit glass. Dust motes dance in the light. Binti's hand stays on the boy's arm. A bridge between worlds, a promise in the warm August air. The jungle sounds fade. Only her soft hum remains, steady, strong, waiting. Binti Jua's large hand rests on the boy's arm. The crowd above screams. Tears stream down faces. They see a 150-kilogram gorilla standing over a silent child. They expect violence. They brace for the worst. But Binti Jua does not growl. She does not pound her chest. Her movements are slow, careful. She slides one strong arm under the boy's back. The other supports his legs. She lifts him gently, cradling him against her chest, just like she holds her own baby, Kula, who still clings to her back. The sight stops the screams. The boy fits small against Binti's dark fur. His head nestles near her shoulder. His breathing is shallow but steady. Binti adjusts her hold. Her fingers curl softly around his body, protecting, supporting. She rocks slightly, a soothing motion. Kula peeks over her mother's shoulder, curious, safe. Binti Jua carries 2 children now, one born of her body, one fallen from the sky, both held with the same tenderness. Other gorillas notice. A young male shuffles closer, sniffs the air. Binti Jua makes a soft sound, a low grumble, deep in her throat, not angry, firm. She turns her body slightly, shielding the boy. The young male stops, takes a step back. The silverback watches from a distance. He does not challenge her. Binti Jua's message is clear. This child is under her care. No one else may touch him. Binti Jua begins to walk, 20 meters across the exhibit floor. Her steps are deliberate. Heavy feet pad softly on concrete. She avoids rocks, steers clear of water pools. Her eyes stay fixed ahead. Toward the service door where zookeepers enter, Kula bounces gently on her back. The boy stirs, whimpers softly. Binti Jua rumbles again, a warm, vibrating sound, comforting, like a mother's hum. The crowd above holds its breath. No one speaks. No one moves. They watch the impossible. A wild gorilla carrying a human child with motherly care. Zookeepers stand behind the glass service door, faces pressed close, eyes wide with disbelief. They have worked with gorillas for years. They know their strength, their wild hearts. But this gentleness, this purpose, they have never seen it. One keeper whispers, "She's taking him to us." Another wipes tears. They see it clearly now. Binti Jua is not confused. She is helping. She wants the boy safe. Human hands ready on the door handle. Waiting, Binti Jua reaches the door. She lowers the boy slowly. Kneeling on one powerful leg, she lays him on the smooth floor. His small body makes no sound. She sits beside him, her large hand rests on his chest, feeling his breath. Kula chitters softly. Binti Jua watches the glass door, waiting. The zookeepers see her dark eyes, calm, patient. She does not rush them. She stays until human hands appear, until the door opens just enough. Zookeepers pull the boy gently through the gap, wrapping him in a warm blanket. Binti Jua does not follow. She does not reach. She simply steps back, 2 slow steps, watching as the humans carry the child away. Her job is done. She turns her head, looks up at the crowd. No anger in her eyes, only quiet certainty. Then she walks away, back toward the fake trees and rocks, her footsteps heavy but calm. Kula's tiny fingers grip her fur tighter. Above, the crowd explodes, not with screams, with tears of joy, with loud, relieved applause. Hands clap until palms sting. People hug strangers. "She saved him," someone shouts. "That gorilla saved our boy." The fear melts away, replaced by wonder. They saw a miracle, a wild animal choosing kindness over instinct, protection over territory, a mother's heart beating the same rhythm across species. Binti Jua disappears into the green shadows of tropic world. Kula's soft coos fade with her. The exhibit returns to calm. Monkeys chatter. Birds call. The silverback resumes eating fruit. High above, visitors linger at the railing. Quiet now, changed. They saw the impossible made real. A gorilla's gentle hands, a mother's fierce protection. The boy reaches the hospital. Doctors check his small body. He has an uncomfortable landing, bruises, a mild bump on his head, but he will be okay. He opens his eyes, asks for his mother. He does not remember the fall, only warm darkness and a deep, rumbling sound like a lullaby. News spreads fast. Chicago. Then the world. Papers show photos of Binti Jua cradling the boy. People call her a hero. Scientists study her actions. They say gorillas feel empathy. They understand suffering. But the zookeepers know deeper truth. Binti Jua did not act as a gorilla. She acted as a mother, her own baby on her back, a lost child in her arms. She saw a need. She answered it. No training, no command, only instinct older than words. The instinct to shield, to soothe, to carry the small and broken toward safety. Years pass. Binti Jua still lives at Brookfield Zoo. Visitors point, whisper her name. Children draw pictures of her gentle hands. The boy grew up. He visits sometimes, stands quietly at the glass. Binti Jua recognizes him. She stops eating, looks at him with calm, dark eyes. No roar, no threat, only a soft grunt, a nod of her great head, as if to say, "I remember you. You are safe now." You think wild hearts are only fierce, only strong, but the truest strength wears a mother's face, feels a child's breath, moves with careful steps across concrete floors. Binti Jua did not see a human. She saw a baby who fell, and in that moment, the walls between species vanished. Only one truth remained. Mothers protect. Always. Everywhere. The jungle air hums with this truth. The glass walls cannot hold it. It lives in every heartbeat, in every gentle hand, in every rumbling lullaby, sung in the warm August light. Binti Jua walks back to her trees, her baby on her back. Her work done, the world watches and remembers. Binti Jua became famous overnight. In 1996, her face filled television screens worldwide. People sent truckloads of fruit to Brookfield. Zoo, bananas, grapes, apples. They wrote letters thanking her gentle hands. Children drew pictures of her holding the small boy. She was not just a gorilla. She was a symbol, proof that motherly love needs no words. It needs only a heart that sees a child in trouble. The boy recovered fully from his uncomfortable fall. His bones healed. His memories faded. But his family never forgot. He grew up knowing a giant gorilla saved his life. On quiet afternoons, he would visit the zoo, stand at the glass, watch Binti Jua eat leaves or groom Kula. She always paused, looked at him, made a soft, grunting sound, like a secret hello. He carried her kindness inside him, a warm light in his chest. Why did this story touch millions? Because Binti Jua acted exactly like any human mother would. She saw a small, still body. She did not see fur or skin. She saw a baby who fell. She carried him gently, protected him from others, walked him to safety. That moment erased the line between us and them. We realized love is not human. It is alive everywhere, in forests, in oceans, in zoo exhibits, in every heart that chooses to shield instead of strike. Remember the guardians we met? In Ethiopia's red dust, 3 golden lions stood in a perfect circle around a lost girl. Their amber eyes watched the shadows. Their bodies formed a living wall. They stayed until help arrived. They did not roar. They did not charge. They simply were present, protective, like stones in a river. In New Zealand's clear blue waves, 7 dolphins surrounded swimmers. They slapped the water with powerful tails, clicked and whistled underwater, kept a dark shape at bay for 40 long minutes. They did not play. They did not flee. They formed a ring of sound and splash, a fortress of fins. They guided the humans toward a boat, toward safety. Their teamwork confused the shadow. Their unity won the day. In the Cook Islands' deep blue water, a humpback whale moved with purpose. It nudged a scientist toward sunlight, shielded her with its massive body, flicked its tail to warn away a silent hunter. It lifted her onto its head, carried her to the surface. Its dark eye held intelligence, calm, understanding. It saw a life in trouble, and it chose to help, not for reward, not for food, for no reason but kindness. What ties these stories together? They show us nature's hidden truth. The wild is not only about competition, not only about survival of the strongest. Sometimes it is about protection. Sometimes the deepest instinct is to care, to see smallness, weakness, fear, and step forward. A lion, a dolphin, a whale, a gorilla, they all chose the same path. They saw life needing help, and they gave it. We often fear the forest. We fear the ocean. We build walls. We carry weapons. We tell stories of danger. But these guardians teach us a new story. Kindness lives in the wild heart of our planet. It walks on padded feet, swims in silent currents, soars on invisible winds. It does not wear a human face, but it knows a human heart. You are part of this big family. Whether you have fur like Binti Jua, fins like the dolphins, or skin like the boy who fell, we all carry the same spark, the instinct to protect the small ones, to stand between harm and the helpless, to make a circle of safety. This is not weakness. It is the strongest force on earth, stronger than teeth, stronger than claws, stronger than fear. Our journey began with a missing girl in the Ethiopian dust. We followed her through dark forests where golden eyes watched. We swam in cold oceans where dolphins formed walls of splash and sound. We floated in blue abysses where whales moved like gentle mountains. We stood in a Chicago zoo where a gorilla mother carried two children, one on her back, one in her arms. 14 chapters, 4 guardians, one truth. You walk through the world every day. You pass trees. You hear waves. You see animals behind glass or in the wild. Now, you carry these stories with you. They change how you see. That rustle in the leaves, it might be a guardian. That splash in the waves, it might be a protector. That quiet gaze from an animal's eyes, it might hold ancient understanding. The world is not silent. It is not indifferent. It watches. It feels. It remembers. When you feel alone in the woods, remember the lion's circle. When you feel small in the ocean, remember the dolphin's splash. When you feel lost in a city, remember the gorilla's gentle hands. You are woven into a web of care older than time, stronger than walls, deeper than fear. Next time you look at the trees or the waves, remember the guardians. Remember that we are never truly alone. The world is watching, and sometimes it is watching over us.